So we've covered quite a lot of ground over the past 5 weeks. We've looked at biological factors, at nature, on how our biology and the functioning of our brains can affect our mental health. And we've looked at life events and how the things that happen to us can impact our mental health. And of course we've also looked at what's important from my perspective, which is the psychology of the situation, how people's understanding of their world and their sense-making of the things that happen to them can shape their mental health. And of course for me this has some profound implications. First of all, it speaks to the nature of what causes things. And for me as a psychologist, I think that how we make sense of the world is almost a third type of variable after nature and nurture. And my logic goes something like this, that in philosophy and in everyday life, something is said to cause something else if that something else occurs when that cause is present, and doesn't occur when the cause isn't present. So then, feeling hopeless and depressed, maybe even suicidal, those sorts of thoughts and feelings occur when there's a particular psychological framework of understanding of the world. And they don't occur if the person has a different viewpoint on life. So it seems to me as if the way we make sense of the world has a causal value, is a cause of mental health problems. If we think about things in that way, as I've said earlier on in this course, there are some profound implications. I asked you in the second week to look at the manifesto for mental health services that had been written by Professor Nick Craddock and colleagues, outlining how services could be organised very much from a biological perspective. But then in the third week I asked you to look at almost a rival manifesto by Pat Bracken and his colleagues, arguing that psychiatry and mental health services could be organised from a social perspective. I suppose for sake of completeness I should outline some of how I think things could be organised from this third perspective, from a psychological perspective. Ultimately I think it's up to you to decide. I don't think there's a right and wrong answer, and I'd encourage you to read all sides of the debate. So on the website you'll find, as I've said before, the manifestos by Nick Craddock and Pat Bracken, but I've also put some other reading. You can find links to my blog. You can also find links to a book chapter where I've recently outlined these kinds of ideas and set out what's effectively my manifesto for mental health services. And I think you should also read work by psychiatrists who have critical perspectives on the way that mental health services should be delivered. And you can find links to all of these ways of thinking about the world on the course website.